My brother Tom called back on Tuesday morning before 9 that I had just poured the second cup of coffee and was at the kitchen table by the south window. The radio was on low. Frank was upstairs. I had been waiting for the call for 5 days that I had not told anyone I was waiting. Tom is 73 now and lives in Rochester. He is the oldest of the 4 O'Donnell children. I am the second. My sister Eileen is 64 and lives 2 miles from me here in Geneva. My brother Michael was 21 when he died on Easter weekend in 1979 and would have been 67 this June. Tom and I speak every other week on a steady rotation, the way long-married Catholic siblings do. He calls me on the off Tuesdays. Last Tuesday he had called once already, in the late afternoon, and had said the cousin in Buffalo had been in touch. The cousin is the daughter of my father's brother, the brother who left the family in 1970 over a dispute I have never fully understood and that no one in the older generation ever explained them why uncle is 10 years dead now. The cousin had been keeping something of his that I gathered was about to become available. Tom said he would call me back when he knew more. I said all right. I poured a cup of coffee after we hung up. I sat with it for a while. This Tuesday Tom said her name first, which is how he begins hard conversations. He said Maggie, which only he and our late mother have ever called me. He said the cousin had sent him an envelope and the envelope had been opened. The envelope had been our father's. Had been written by him, in 1970, to his brother. Our uncle had kept the letter for 44 years. He had died in 2015 without ever showing it to his daughter. The cousin found it last month, going through the last of his papers in the basement of the Buffalo house she has finally put on the market. She had read it. She had called Tom because she did not know what to do with it. I asked Tom what was in the letter. He said our father had written to apologize. Not to defend his side. To apologize. I sat at the kitchen table and I did not say anything for a long minute. My father died in 1995, in October, of a stroke at his own kitchen table on Pulteney Street. He was 67. I was 38. I have spent 30 years coming to understand who my father was, quiet, fair, a churchgoer, a foundry man for 41 years, and the picture has slowly filled in the way pictures of one's parents do after they are gone. I had not pictured an apology. I had pictured a man who held his ground. I asked Tom what the apology had been for. He said he was not going to read me the letter on the phone. He said he would drive down on Saturday and bring it. Then he said a thing he had not said before. He said Mom knew. He said our mother knew our father had written the letter. He said she had been the one who told him to send it. He said she had told Tom this, once, in the kitchen on Pulteney Street. The spring after our father died, Tom was 43, our mother was 63. He said he had never told me because he had not known whether the letter had ever actually been sent. And he had not wanted to lay something on me about our father that he could not finish. I asked him why he was telling me now. He said because the letter had been sent. He said because we were running out of time to know. I said all right. I said I would see him Saturday. I said I would have lunch ready. I poured the third cup of coffee after I hung up. I sat with it. I looked at the small framed photograph of my mother in the window, the black and white from 1958, my mother at 30, in the kitchen of the house I grew up in. She was holding a dish towel. She was looking at something to the right of the camera. I had been looking at this picture for 17 years. I had not known she had told my father to write the letter. I had not known she had carried that, alongside everything else she carried. My sister Eileen and I walked Friday morning the way we walk every Friday, 2 miles around the lakefront park, the ducks coming up beside us as they do. I told her on the second loop. She knew the half about our uncle and the dispute. She was 6 in 1970 and she remembered the silence at our parents' kitchen table that summer better than I did. She did not know about the letter. She did not know our mother had told our father to send it. We finished the loop. We sat on the bench by the boat launch the way we sometimes do. Eileen said Mom knew. Of course she did. I said yes. We sat for a while. The lake was flat. A man was launching a small boat at the ramp. I thought about my mother in the kitchen on Pulteney Street in 1970. Telling my father to write a letter I would not learn about for 55 years. I thought about my father sitting at the table to write it. I thought about the 10 years between his death and my mother's. And what I had not asked her, and what she had been waiting for me to ask. Saturday is in 3 days.